Brockhampton is a group of guys that basically met online on a Kanye forum, like sharing that same passion for Kanye. They basically packed their bags, moved to LA, and have started to pursue their dream. As of right now, they have 3 albums out, with Saturation 3 on its way in December. There's no official announcement yet. But today I'll be reviewing Saturation track by track. So the first track's called Heat, consists of Amir, Merlin, Dom, Joba, and Matt. So it's basically an aggressive, filthy, uncensored, odd future-inspired track. Distorted 808s paired with a steady drum beat dominate this track. Amir feels like he's at home when he kicks the track off by spitting a crude and intense verse over Heat's sinister beat. Merlin's young thug-esque vocals, I think, are a highlight off of this track, but I have a hard time understanding what he's saying due to his accent. If we were to talk about Dom in this song, I feel like he sticks out, but not in a bad way. He's tonally he's on the same page, but lyrically he's more transparent about what's bothering him instead of following suit and putting on that like tough exterior like the last 2 guys have in this song. Joba's roars in the later half of the song feel almost like a visceral reaction to what the other members brought to the table. The distorted guitar licks are just a cherry on top of the raw and sinister energy Joba evoked with his manic yells. Matt comes through with a solid verse, but I feel like they should have placed him before Joba's bridge. The Joba roars would have been the perfect high note to end on. Like putting the Joba roars before Matt's verse kind of undermined Matt. Not that he didn't give a good verse, it's just that's what happens with the placement. Alright, so track number 2, Gold. It's got Kevin, Matt, Amir, Merlin, and Joba. The amount of instruments and crazy sound bites used throughout this song is insane. The little spooky synth melody is super catchy too. Kevin, as you'll come to slowly realize throughout this album, is the king of infectious hooks in Brockhampton, and Gold's no exception. Matt comes in casually riding the beat and kicking off the braggadocious vibe of Gold with some major bars. I really liked how they added in some tasteful cowbell to Amir's verse, and his like slurty enunciation throughout his part. It didn't feel like Merlin was stuck into Amir's verse. He fit in really well. Those two got some major chemistry, since Amir gives off that hard, wicked vibe, and Merlin has that confident, loose, energetic vibe. Yin to his yang, you know? Merlin also changes his pitch from the energetic high to a somber low in the 3rd verse, reminding us all that he, like the others, is a wild card. Finally, Dom delivers the final verse and absolutely murders the beat. He's on another level compared to the others in this track. Track number 3, Star. So Star consists of Dom, Amir, and Kevin. Blast this song out of the best speakers you own. Blast this song when you're speeding down the highway giving your head. The most iconic track off of Saturation. An absolute evil beat with synths from out of this world, and 808s so hard they'll have you thinking you've got heart palpitations. Dom, Amir, and Kevin destroy this track. Murder so clean, Michael Douglas would want to hire them. Please just listen to this track right now and just take my word for it. So good. Best track. Alright, track 4, Boys. It consists of Kevin, Amir, Merlin, Matt, and Dom. Solid track reminding listeners that Brockhampton is changing what it means to be a boy band. The crew drop references to tropes apparent in boy bands, but knowingly subvert these tropes in order to redefine the age-old stereotypes. The beat starts with these violin strings paired with a weird synth blare melody that are kind of off-putting at first, but grow on you after a few listens. I really like the Mercy screams, I think. They sound like the Mercy screams. Mercy from Kanye West. Sprinkled into the song, it serves as a nice little reminder that Kanye is the glue that brought them all together, you know? And Kevin kicks the song off with a hook that'll have stadiums shaking. Amir's flow in this song, and in every song really, just boasts confidence. He rides the beat so casually it sounds like he got it down the first recording. Matt uses a verse to let everyone know he's the one your girl's going to fawn over, so watch out. Dom is basically the ace in the hole for these guys. The light modulation on his vocals are a nice touch. Track number 5, Tupac, with Amir and Kevin. First time I heard this song, I thought it was a girl singing. Turns out they just pitched up Amir's vocals and modulated Kevin's vocals, who closes the track. Amir switches up from an aggressive flow to a somber and reflective flow. The piano instrumental paired with a vulnerable Amir and a mellow Kevin hook had me all in my feels. I couldn't believe the transition from 4 bangers to this sentimental track. 5 stars. I really wish it was longer than just, I think it was like 2 minutes or 1:30. So I'm going to talk about the skits. Skits 1, 2, and 3. So I'm not entirely sure what the purpose is of these skits. They seem fairly random, and they all have Brockhampton's producer / web developer Roberto speaking to Brockhampton's producer Jabari about arbitrary stuff. I'm sure if you watch all the music videos, maybe it'll make more sense. I haven't, which might explain why I don't have a solid theory or explanation why these are in saturation. Shame on me, I know. Regardless, I'm a fan of Roberto now, just because of his skits. I just thought it was cool that he spoke in Spanish. Alright, track 7. Kevin, Amir, Dom, Merlin. One of the best tracks off of Saturation. The theme of the song deals with how the music industry controls how artists present themselves, and they need to maintain these pseudo-personalities in order to rake in record sales. Taylor Swift. The chipmunking vocals on this song might be a purposeful choice Brockhampton made by deviating from the norm and still coming through with a solid hit. Production on this song sounds like I'm getting abducted by aliens and I can't get enough of it. Kevin, once again, comes through with hooks that rival Travis Scott's, and they're just super catchy. I don't know what else to say. If I'm to describe a song, I'm like, hey, what's that one song? Kevin just goes, today's gonna be F-I-1. Anywho. Also, shout out Amir and Dom, but Merlin really took home the medal on this track. Alright, track number 8. Kevin, Dom, Amir. Super underrated song. Combination of the simple, I think it's a kalimba melody with quiet drums juxtaposed with like hard 808s and eerie like warbled sirens is absolutely jaw-dropping. Like, who came up with this? This is insane. And it doesn't end there. Kevin and Dom's bridge with their vocals overlapped sounded super cool. It reminded me of like in DBZ where Goten and Trunks' voices were overlaid over each other whenever they fused into Gotenks. So, you know, Super Saiyan 3 worthy bridge. Amir felt a little overshadowed in this song, but still came through with his usual impressive and brooding delivery. Kevin ended the song with a high octane outro that always leaves me like wanting more of this song. Like, don't end. A majority of the tracks on this album leave me that way. Track number 9, Skit 2. Basically explained that on Skit 1, so I'm going to go into track 10, Trip, featuring Kevin, Amir, Dom, and Joba. Every song on this album is just solid. I have almost nothing bad to say about any of them, except maybe this one. The production and Kevin's hook seem to overshadow Amir and Dom's verses, especially with like the weird modulation on their voices. It just seems like a little too much in this case. And plus it feels like the mix was a little off by, you know, it might just be me. I don't know. But I feel like I hear the keys and the soft hi-hats more than I do the vocals when it comes to their parts. Plus, whenever I try to sing along, I just kind of mumble their parts, but belt out Kevin's. I'm just not too big on this song. I do have to shout out Joba's vocals at the end, though. Those brought me back from spacing out. Love the auto-tune. Shows they aren't afraid to show their Kanye influences on their sleeve. Track 11, Swim, featuring Joba, Kevin, Merlin, and Dom. This song is so sweet. I love the guitar. It reminds me of 1979 by Smashing Pumpkins guitar, you know, where it's like that like weird quick guitar warble in the middle of the melody. They do the same thing here. It's just unreal how much versatility there is in this group. Kevin's sensual delivery, he just flips it like a switch from punk rock energy to sad boy no problem. Merlin's voice in this song, insane. Who knew he could go from like that crazy hypebeast guy to the heartthrob singer like that? And the singing is just so good. I just don't want these guys to split up. Please listen to this song. Another underrated track. Alright, track number 12, Bump, featuring Matt, Merlin, Kevin, Amir, and Dom. Don't take the name Bump for granted. Bump this song as loud as possible through some speakers with serious bass, because damn, is this a bass-heavy song. The percussions and 808s are so loud it feels like you're riding in a lowrider with hydraulics that defy gravity. Like, not just like, it's like, so the way I describe the song is basically you're riding in a lowrider, having a good time. Matt, Merlin, Amir, and Dom are all going off in the car. Then Kevin out of nowhere comes in with this somber hook and you realize you just drove off a cliff. It just goes from super happy manic energy in this lowrider to, oh shit, you're going off the cliff in this lowrider. But then you realize you drove off the cliff, everything's in slow-mo, you're in your feels, and the scream at the end rewinds you back to the beginning, cruising this crazy lowrider, only to find yourself in an endless loop of driving off of said cliff. That's the best way I can describe this song. Listen to it. It's wacky in all the right ways. Track number 13, Cash, featuring Kevin, Merlin, Amir, Dom, and Joba. So I'm not a fan of the guitar. It just sounds really gross. The beat, on the other hand, like always, is super weird, but so good. I think there's like a kazoo in here somewhere, or a kazoo sound, I'm not entirely sure. Shout out Ramil, Jabari, Kiko, Dom, and Joba, and everyone else who has a hand in production on this project. You definitely deserve some major praise and credit, because these are, I feel like they're pushing the envelope for beats, or at least they're what everyone should strive for. They're pushing music forward. They aren't the same old beats, not the same old hi-hats. The rapping and Joba's croons is what really carries the song though. Probably the most political track off of Saturation. Each member delivers their own commentary on homophobia, racism, socioeconomic issues, etc., the whole shebang. It's the first time Kevin raps on here, and I really wish he was doing more verses, but can't complain with all the killer hooks on this album. Track 14, skip 3. Skip. Alright, track 15, Milk, featuring Amir, Merlin, Kevin, Matt, and Dom. Now we're getting into the closing tracks that'll have you in your feels. Milk is a song where some of the members confess and attempt to face some of their own demons, how they seek self-improvement and self-acceptance. Amir's verse made me want to give this guy a shot at redemption somehow, or at least offer him like a confessional. I just hope the guy finds peace, because it sounds like he's been through a lot, and maybe he thinks he deserves it. Long story short, Amir deserves a second chance. Merlin's verse, super inspiring, had me wishing I had the guts to do what he did. From what it sounds like is he wasn't comfortable in school, he wasn't comfortable seeking the stereotypical like job, 5-figure salary, like high-end 5-figure salary, dropped out, pursued his dreams, look at him now. It's insane. These guys are just insane. After I listened to Kevin's, I just wanted to give him a hug and be his friend. I'm surprised a guy like Kevin, as talented as him, still feels isolated. Matt's short bridge had me inspired to do something I've always been meaning to do, but I've always been too lazy to execute. Dom's transparency in this track, and in all tracks really, reminds me of a young childish Gambino when he used to be considered too transparent. This track just feels like a safe space where listeners and the members themselves can just decompress all their trials and tribulations and look for an opportunity to move forward, seek comfort in their own skin. Every time I listen to this song, it's just like, it leaves me in my feels, it leaves me reflecting on my own life. Track 16, featuring Joba, Dom, Matt, and Amir. These guys went from talking all about the woman they pull to being in their feels about their past lovers. I just love it. It's great. A phenomenal track. Track got me so good in my feels, I got my phone out ready to text my ex. It's just such a sad but sensual song, and Matt easily delivers the best verse. All of them give some solid emotional verses that'll have you sighing a little and kicking some leaves around. Joba's angelic voice caught me super off guard. I'm just like, is this the same guy that was screeching like a lunatic on Heat? I just want an album from Joba. I just want an album from all these guys alone, but still be Brockhampton. Finally, Waste by Bareface. Waste had me double checking my phone to make sure I was listening to the same album when I first heard it. This is the first time we hear Bareface on Saturation, and his voice sounds like what I imagine Sheets with over a 2,000 thread count feel like. I haven't been this excited about a singer since Frank Ocean. The guitar is so smooth, crisp, laid back, and complements his croon so well. Plus the duet with him and his collaborator R. Gomez floored me. The near breaks in his voice always get me. I might have to argue that this is a contender for the best track off of the album. Alright, so now we get into the too long didn't watch section. Long story short, iconic boy band. Kevin's hooks are 10 out of 10. Amir's absolutely sinister. Merlin's magnetic. Matt's a heartthrob. Dom's the ace in the hole. Joba's versatile as fuck. Bareface needs to show up more. And Roberto se llama Roberto. Best tracks? Heat, Gold, Star, Boys, Tupac, Fake, Bank, Swim, Bump, Milk, Face, Waste. Worst tracks, if I had to choose some, probably Trip and Cash. And if I was to give this album a score, I'd give it a 9 out of 10. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you want to read more of my reviews or check out some news or anything, check in the link down below. I'll put a link to my website along with the rating and everything and parts that you can skip to each song. Yeah, I'm just going to leave it at that. Brockhampton, Saturation.